Exhausted by the self-proclaimed investment experts driving our collecting hobby? Yeah, me too. In this video, I provide an alternative view from a collector's perspective to help redefine a card's value well beyond any comp, grade, or market trend. So let's talk. The current state of the sports card collecting hobby, where the focus is clearly moved towards condition, pop counts, and profit, is just frustrating. While these elements have their place, I often feel they overshadow the true essence of collecting and our connection to the players and the game itself. I've been collecting baseball cards for more than 45 years and fondly remember the thrill of opening a pack and finding a card of my favorite player, not because of its grade, but because of how it connected me to the game. It was a simpler time where the joy came from learning about my favorite players and teams, not from chasing grades, serial numbers, or speculative investments. In fact, the ability to recite the stats from the back of the card was as fun as the card itself. In counter to this profit-minded trend, I use 4 criteria in assessing my cards: creativity, aesthetics, provenance, and resonance. These criteria go well beyond condition and grades, focusing instead on a card's artistic qualities, history, and the personal significance they have to my collection. Creativity is all about the artistic elements of the card. From the design and layout to the use of colors and imagery, creativity captures the essence of the card as a piece of art and a testament to the game. It's about appreciating the unique and imaginative aspects that make a card stand out. For example, the Catch from 1959 Topps. This card captures what I consider the greatest catch of all time by one of the greatest center fielders of all time. This card was a part of a 10-card baseball thrill subset recognizing key moments of the era, a first of its kind by Topps. For the first time, a baseball card highlighted the historical significance of great accomplishments by its superstars and went beyond just player portraits with season and career stats or advertising. Truly creative on multiple levels. Or how about the 1990 Score Bo Jackson? This card is a junk wax era icon. Bo was a two-sport beast, and of all of his cards, this one captures that the best. When I think of Bo Jackson cards, this is absolutely the first one I think of, simply because of its creative qualities. Everything in twos. Black and white photography, baseball and football, athleticism and versatility. And on the back, 2 letters, B and O, in Royals blue and Raiders black. Nothing like it had been produced before it, and in my opinion, nothing has since. Such a cool card. And finally, this 1955 Bowman Eddie Matthews. The 1955 Bowman set was a huge leap in creativity as it embraced not only the golden age of baseball, but also the golden age of television. Combining the two was genius in my mind. This set honors the importance television had on the expansion of the game to a much wider audience. I admit the 1955 Bowman set is certainly a love-hate design. Regardless, its creativity keeps it relevant among vintage collectors to this day. Similar to creativity, but uniquely different, aesthetics focuses on the visual appeal and overall beauty of the card. This includes the quality of the printing, the sharpness of the images, and the balance of the design. A card with high aesthetic value is one that is pleasing to the eye and showcases the craftsmanship involved in its creation. This is also where condition and its 4 subcategories come into play. But it keeps it completely subjective as beauty is in the eye of the beholder. One of my favorite aesthetically pleasing sets that come to mind is the 1960 Topps, with its photography, bold colors, and landscape design. The rookie card of Hall of Famer Carl Yastrzemski exemplifies the point. Just a beautiful card. And I'll throw in this Ernie Banks with its superb photography that not only captures Mr. Cub in a meaningful pose twice, but also vintage Wrigley Field in the background. Absolutely spectacular with brilliant imagery. And speaking of brilliant imagery, how about this 1953 Bowman color of Warren Spahn? Aesthetically speaking, it just doesn't get much better than this in my collection. The player, the era, the pose, the logo. This is by far my favorite Warren Spahn card. Just stunning. Provenance refers to the origin and history of the card. This includes the story behind the card, whose hands it's passed through, and any notable events, especially personal ones, associated with it. A card with rich provenance has a deeper connection to a collection that makes it more meaningful to a collector. A couple of examples from my collection include this 1967 Roberto Clemente and 1966 Sandy Koufax, the first cards of each player I acquired as a kid. I've posted a video about the Clemente in my Preserving This Kid's Collection series, and you can learn its story there. Suffice to say, this is the most valuable 1967 Topps Roberto Clemente in existence from my perspective. The Koufax is similar, but I just don't remember the exact story of how I acquired it. But it is my first Sandy Koufax card, and I've owned it since I was 12, and it's been loved. There was a time when I thought I had to have a better copy of it, but because I know the history of this card, it's far more valuable to me than this graded version. To give some credit to the grading companies, they do provide some provenance when they know a card comes from a prominent collector or collection. For example, this 1958 Warren Spahn that was once part of the Stephen Rothman collection. Rothman collected some of the best-known examples of vintage cards over a 20-year period. Some of those cards have gone up for auction over the years, and I'm fortunate to own this one. Knowing a bit of the history of a card adds another dimension in my mind. It's what I call a card's dirt. Every card we have comes from somewhere. The more I know about it, the more valuable it is to me. Resonance. It's about the personal significance and emotional impact of a card. It's that magical connection you feel to a player, a moment, or a memory. A card with high resonance brings joy and nostalgia, reminding you of why you fell in love with the game. Resonance ties you to a time, a place, a person, an emotion. Many of the cards I've shown resonate with me, but this 1953 Jackie Robinson card, it really drives the point home. This card is irreplaceable. You see, my dad pulled this card in 1953 when he was just a 10-year-old kid. It's one of the few cards that remain from his collection. This card connects me to the greatness of Jackie Robinson and his historic importance to baseball and society. But most importantly, it connects me to my dad. He's the reason I collect cards today. Of all the criteria, resonance is the most important. It's the soul of my collection. No grade, profit margin, or investor can ever influence that. I collect for the love of the game and the people who made me who I am. And that's the magic of collecting. It's not just about the cards, it's about the stories, the memories, and the connections we hold dear. So thanks for stopping by. I'd love to see some of your favorite cards based on their creativity, aesthetics, provenance, or resonance. If you do share them, please tag me so I can enjoy them too. And remember, keep fueling the friendships.